Welcome on the conference. In this talk, we're talking about C and CD and DevOps with Ruby or Rails. Essentially, is a to-do list for implement this practice in your normal daily job and try to make your easy life a little easier. First of all, we're starting with a definition. The definition about what we meaning with DevOps. The first time I hearing the word DevOps is 2008 in USA. It's an agile conference, and is introduced by one of the inventor of the agile. The definition I like using is a little focus result definition, and meaning is a set of practice intent to reduce the time between committing a change on the system and releasing this on the production. What we're meaning is when we're releasing when we're working in the software, we have a lifetime cycle, and the market cannot be at the same velocity we have. Imagine we have a new requirement from a customer. The normal timeline is develop the system, improve testing the system, find releasing. The classic is 6-month development, 2 weeks for releasing. With all problems this happen. Normally we lost in quality because we can testing whole job done in 2 weeks. It's near to impossible. We lost in time because a bigger organization can exit first respect to us with the release. We can have big problem we see outside with a failure on the release. The DevOps must reducing this time and ensuring the quality to have the maximum of the result. Some guys ask me why my manager we need a DevOps. This is two of the failure I found on the system about 2 big companies. One is Knight Capital, and he's asked me, a financial customer, why we need to have continuous integration or continuous development, why we need to improve the system. We have a specific time for releasing, that we don't have problem. Knight Capital think is the same, and he lost $400,000 and $40,000 million with a fake releasing. What is happening is, he releasing the software, he thinking it's working, the analytics software don't working, and starting to selling instead to buying some action. It's a financial company. The same happened in Goldman and Sachs. We were releasing software, we don't have the data because I don't say after, but for a wrong releasing, the time for the touch the server and have the server stop cost a different million of euro. The DevOps have these guys because now we have a continuous integration cycle. First to releasing, we have a stable releasing and a new release. Not just one releasing, and they held that with no feature, with no new feature. In practice, the DevOps needed to change how you're thinking the organization. It's not the same of daily. What we need to do is have some DevOps practice. The operational guys, the guys physically maintain your system, should be involved when you design the application for one simple reason. It must maintain your system. One big problem you can have can be, okay, I'm releasing this software. For me, I'm a developer, that's fine. I can reading the software, I can understand what's happened. But imagine, and this happened, a guy must reading your log. Can be, for example, lost the time. Sometimes the time logging is not good. Or should be not enough information for understand what's happened and what caused the error. What is the root cause? Simple. Or we want to introducing a new library. Oh, it's fantastic, it's new, I'm using it. It's helped my dev life. But we have to understand, by the hop guys, this library is not compatible with other library we have. In dev working, why don't working in op? How many times you guys have this kind of problem? I think we're releasing the software, oh, in dev working, why don't working in op? The hop guys know that, know what's happened, know how can fix, and should be stay here with you when you define the requirement. It can tell you, I need a log with this specific, or we can't using right now this library because it's incompatible with this system. We need to upgrade the system first. The dev people must be more responsible for relevant incidents. Normally, the work until working is, I'm dev guys, I finished my job, now you have 2 weeks for releasing. It's not my problem. I'm starting to develop something else. Last week we have some problem happen. We must have an help from the dev because a new dev software essentially not tested creating this problem. Can be happen. We are all human, all have a failure. But the dev know easily what can be up, what can be the problem. Can help you to fix the problem and reducing time. This meaning we can releasing a feature faster instead to waiting, for example, 3 weeks for have this feature. Because the dev, non-operational, must understand what is the problem, define the root cause, find the solution. If it's a dev problem, must tell to the dev, sorry guys, I have a problem, it's a dev problem, can you please fixing? And this meaning a new releasing of the software can potentially cost us different money. Last 2 weeks ago, probably, is a failure in Amazon Web Services. It's a mistake with code, essentially. Go down the DNS, problem with releasing. Enforce the deployment process. This meaning, when we're deploying, we need to have just one workflow. Ensure the quality, ensure the right people understand what we need releasing, ensure the DevOps talking about what we're releasing. What we do now in my job is, I must release something, I have near me the dev guys develop, I told them what I need to release. You need to release this, 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 this. The first people can tell you, okay, working or not, is the dev. Because the dev creating this software, the dev know what he wants to do. The dev can tell you, no, sorry, probably we have a problem because it don't working how I'm expect. And sometimes it's related on the releasing software because we forgot some library or we forgot to configure something. Sometimes it can be a bug. Or sometimes it can be, oh, sorry, we don't forgot to merging all this code, just merging this line of code, but previously I do this other line of code. I don't merge in this code. Using continuous delivery. The continuous delivery is important because we're releasing smaller part of code every single day. Imagine in your life cycle, you're working for 6 months for a new product. The product has 100 features. You are releasing all these 100 features all together. We have a failure because we don't calculate, we need to upgrade the database, and we don't release nothing. We spend 6 months, the day of release, the customer don't have nothing in back because it's all or nothing. Or releasing all, or we don't releasing nothing. If you're working in Agile, you probably spend 1 month in a sprint. But it's always all or nothing. And this can be cost money for the company, for the customer. Using the infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code, how many of you know the college, know what meaning infrastructure as code? Chef, infrastructure as code is a software for creating infrastructure like Chef or Puppet. What meaning is, I must creating a server, a physical server, a blade. I'm writing a software, it's called a cookbook with Chef in particular, for creating this server and installing all software I needed. When I'm writing this part of code, this infrastructure as code, you can find Chef of Puppet, essentially do the same stuff. You are sure all servers are the same. You're installing all the library, all the productor, open all the server you needed, exactly in the same way. The big advantage of infrastructure as code is you can test what you're releasing. When you're creating a new server, you know it's exactly the same you're creating previously. If first working, now not, something is changed or infrastructure or is changing in your code. Because every time, if you want building the server from scratch and installing operating system, installing the library, something can missing, or the new version of the same library, because you don't have the older version, should be not compatible with that. We now can define a life cycle of the DevOps. This essentially is a pattern chain. It's used in industrial for define from the beginning to the end. Imagine we want moving the software in a normal production life cycle. Like we want producing a normal plant for everyone you want. We have the requirement is the first step. When the people ask us what we want, a customer comes to you, I need a new system for my billing. You must getting the requirement. Okay, what did they need to do, and stuff like that. In this phase, we need to talking with not only with stakeholder, the people asking the requirement, but with the operational guys. Because these guys can help you to writing a software can be better maintained when we're releasing in the last phase. Get ops input for getting the requirement. What do you thinking we can do? What do you thinking is the best? Sometimes more problem is not connected with the code, but is connected with the server I have is not enough for maintaining my system. What I need to do? These guys can help you for tell you, okay, probably with this kind of database, with this kind of server, we needed more memory or more space. Another point is the development. DevOps is born in an agile. And this meaning, it take from agile more of the idea. Small agile team. An agile team with 9 people is simple to maintain. Because every people can collaborate with each other. You don't spending hours for understand the problem in a project management point of view. In 50 minutes, you can know what is the problem, how can fix it, and another people can tell to you, okay, I fix in this way, all in 50 minutes. For a project management point of view, is a very safe time. Limited coordination. Every dev should be enough responsible for what we do. I assuming we are all software engineer, and all of us can be enough stronger for do a software without a limited coordination. Unit testing. Okay, this is the basic of the agile. The test is the basic of the continuous integration. The testing should be ready first of writing the software, because you know what you can do. Reading the story, not reading the code. When we're building, we must have a tool for building. A tool for building can be like Capistrano or another tool like Jenkins. Something can automatize this process for building. In this way, the building is always the same. Sometime happened in my career, we're creating a building, another guy's creating a building, he forgot a library, the software don't working. Because we're creating manual building without any kind of tool, and simple forgot to adding this stuff. Can be happen. Continuous integration. Because we have unit testing, we can have a continuous integration. Continuous integration is just Jenkins, the simple older Jenkins. Jenkins, we see some slide after how can using in Ruby, Rails, with some example about continuous integration, is essentially the basic of DevOps. Jenkins or tool like that, I'm using Jenkins because Jenkins is free. Other tool like Travis CE or GoCD. GoCD is free, Travis CE, you must pay. And essentially, why I pay when I have something free? The continuous integration helps you to have a building with something released, should be working and can be adding value to your feature. Imagine you adding a new feature, this feature working, the customer wants, you can releasing, and you must trust me, When the customer has a small feature, but exactly what you want, you are the perfect day. You can see these people happy because you have a smaller feature, 3 lines of code, but it can solve their problem. Automatic testing. Jenkins we stay in the testing phase. We can using manually the test. Company like Zendesk, like Salesforce, have thousands of tests doing in automatic time every time adding a feature in the software. This is because we don't want broken what we do previously. A broken feature meaning a wrong name for your company. Your company can thinking, this software releasing something not good. The Microsoft, if you're talking about Microsoft, more people tell you, oh, Microsoft releasing software with bug. Don't understand, it's not true, but because you have one bug, it's thinking all software is with bug. User acceptance testing. This is probably one connector with one of Agile. In Agile, we have 2 kinds of people. It's called pig and chicken. It's an older story in USA when a chicken and pig tell me, we open a restaurant. Yes, of course, say the pig. And the chicken, what we do? The chicken say, okay, bacon and eggs. The chicken is the user. The people ask you, I want that, but never do nothing on the software. But you want. The user send a test, meaning, okay, you are chicken, please see if what you want is good. You can probably writing a small part of code is what you want, and you can save day for do another part of code if thinking you want, but it's not really true. This happened in some case for me. I do that, sorry, this is a small part. It's what, oh, it's fantastic, it's what I want. If you're reading the story, you want a, look like, a shuttle, you need just a car. Another continuous delivery and development tools. Continuous delivery meaning releasing small part of software every single day or more time of day. I talked with some guys in Zendesk in Dublin, and they told me, oh, we're releasing 30, 40 times per day. Smaller feature, but releasing in 30 times per day, 1 per hour. Every single developer building a code, commit a code in master is tested and released. Is tested and released. Sometimes change just a button. Now we change the color of the button. It's a new release. Because the customer wants that. Sometimes I'm receiving mail from Zendesk, oh, releasing this. Change the label, change the color of the button. Simple, smaller releasing. But together, at the end of the month, you have a system with completely new interface, no typo error, a new appeal on the feeding. Deployment tools. You must do something for deploy, for reducing the time. If you imagine how time take it for you, imagine Java or Ruby, getting the package, creating the database with the migration, installing the software for every single server, you're probably spending hours. A deployment tool for Ruby classic is Capistrano. You're building a script, you're launching the script, Capistrano do it for you. In minutes. You can do another stuff. Meantime, the software is developed. And you can save this time for working or for checking or for see what's happened. Continuous monitoring, responding to error condition. This is done by some software. One of that is called New Relic. New Relic is a software for check what's happened in the application. We see a slide at the end. Every single condition of the application is tested. If you have too much using of this single Ruby page or too much database, it's continuous monitored. When you have an error, you're receiving a mail, oh, sorry, I have a failure because this application needed 10 seconds instead 5 seconds for be done. Something wrong happened. You can reducing the error because you know first what's happened instead to moving. The customer don't receiving the error because the customer don't see what you see. Now we try to introducing some basic concept about that. One is the continuous delivery. This is one of the definition of the continuous delivery. Essentially is if we find the solution is define a set of practices and principles in software engineering for releasing software faster. This meaning I have a new feature, I don't want waiting week for releasing. The life cycle should be like that. Building something, I deliver it, I test it, I release it. This is in a continuous way. I finish something, I building the software, I deliver it, I testing, I releasing. This is done for every single commit you do in your repo, for example. Another integration is continuous integration. Continuous integration is a little too bit complex and is moving from the extreme programming develop practice. Essentially, is a practice for merging delivery working in minimum several times a day. In XP, in extreme programming, that was intended for combination with automatic unit testing and test-driven developer. Because we have a test-driven in XP, we can continuous testing our software. We're writing daily our software and with the testing. The process on this stuff should be something like that. I commit on my source control, I starting the C process, I building, that's fine. I testing, I report to development what's happened. In this phase, we're moving on continuous development. Because I have a build, I can moving the continuous development. I getting the build, I testing, I releasing. One of the stuff, what we can do is why C, CD, and DevOps. Why we must have this practice. For example, for accelerate the time to market. How many time spend from you to have a new feature and releasing the feature? How many days the normal circle in your software has? I don't know, 6 months? You're starting to think in January and you're releasing in June. In this time, big organization can do the same releasing in 3 months because they have double number of your engineer and double number of tester. You can essentially lose your market because you don't have enough time for releasing. Building the right product. Frequent releasing, just we mentioned, meaning you can exactly have what the developer, the customer wants without spending time to do what he thinks he needs to want. Sometimes what the customer wants is not what he's thinking to want. But it's because when I work in Italy the first time, I'm Italian but now work in Dublin, the first experience is a software prepared for a minister. It's fantastic, but because it's not prepared thinking on the customer, essentially a manager can just see the report, but a normal employee can cut off the salary of the manager. Because, oh, he working, he must do that, that, that. I want to do that, that, that. But it's not true. I, normal employee, can say, okay, you now don't have salary for this month. Because you tell me I must do that. What the manager wants is not what he needed. Improved productivity and efficiency. Because we're saving time. Meantime, I testing this feature, I can do something else. I can just take a break. In the company, we have sometimes a ping pong table, and you sometimes hearing these guys playing ping pong. Because I'm saving time, I done my job is good. I have 1 hour, okay, playing ping pong. My job is done. Reliable releasing. I have always a releasing can be released for produce value to the customer. Every single time. Improve the customer satisfaction. The customer never see a failure. Never see a releasing with an error because we don't releasing. If we have an error, the customer don't arriving because we don't releasing nothing. We don't tell to the customer, oh, this is new releasing testing. Some big company like Netflix have a practice called canary testing. It's a little expensive. Essentially, you have another production environment limited to a specific number of customers. This customer take the new releasing and try for real. Imagine you have 2 production, just not 150, and these 5 people testing. This project is a little expensive, because you must have 2 production, but Netflix do. Because I think I have DevOps, I can try. And the try do is not testing the application, it's testing, is the features you like to the customer. Oh, I want to improve this software. You like it or not? But not the quality of the code, because this, the code is working. Just how feel the market about that? Now we must see which tool we can using for that. We have Docker, a container. We have Jenkins, Chef, Ruby, Rails, Capistrano, Git, and RSpec. This is essentially the basic tool for do a C and CD and DevOps with Rails. Docker for creating a stable releasing. Every time you can connect Jenkins with Docker and have a Docker image with your software ready to releasing. This meaning if a customer have a problem, you have 0 downtime. Just switch image to image can be live, and the customer have 0 downtime. The customer continues to working, but you can fix easily the problem on the back end. The customer never see what's happened. Jenkins for C, CD, and test is one of my preferred tools. I try other, but what I can do with Jenkins is amazing. Chef. Chef is one of the tools for infrastructure as code. You can just develop some Ruby code, tell what you can install it, where you can install it, and it's starting to producing test server for you exactly what you're asking to do. One big advantage of Chef, the code should be encrypted. You can encrypt the code, and no one can reading what you want to installing. And this meaning you can install in software, adding some security key, SSH key, but no one can reading, because needed as SSH key for reading what you want to do. Puppet, for example, don't have this, like the same feature, but you can encrypt your cookbook. This meaning everyone can reading what you want to installing. And infrastructure is your main core, essentially. Capistrano. Capistrano is the probably main tool building for Ruby. Okay, with Capistrano you can build in all language. Capistrano gives you a capability to writing script for deploy server in the same time with just one launch. You can have 100 servers to deploy. The application be deployed in 100 server. That's fine. Capistrano do that for you. You're just thinking cap deploy, and Capistrano do the job for you. You don't think I must installing there. It is meaning enter in the server, exit, install the application, check the application, exit, enter the new server, stuff like that. The syntax is simple. Ruby and Rails, okay, we're working in Ruby Rails because as well, we want using that, but we can using Rails, and if you find Shopify on internet, you find a very fantastic application for creating essentially a building tool with Rails. You can integrate Rails with Git, with Jenkins, with Capistrano, and have a board for manage your releasing. You can tell, I want releasing this one, and Rails do that for you. RSpec. We need to do testing. We need to have testing. RSpec is one of the best tools probably for testing. One of the meaning of DevOps is what is the main core of DevOps. This is one of the picture when we're working, I like expose. A development want your feature, and sometimes happen. An operational need the system is stable, because it's not stable. You must stay hour for try to fixing the problem. What is broken, these guys, is the wall of miscommunication. It never communicate each other what we have. Operational world have our tool, developer world have our tool. No one try to communicate each other and tell why we don't have one unique tool for working together. Why we don't working shoulder and shoulder for working together. What DevOps do is that. Try to merge developer, operational, and QA in one single way. in our company, I'm working shoulder by shoulder with an operational guys, and we're working together for one single tool for help my job and your job. Because if I have a failure, my responsibility is help him. We now want to see a roadmap for DevOps, what we need to do for have DevOps in our company. For example, improve the transparency across the company. Everyone made mistake. Everyone can be a problem. If we hide in the problem, we never fix the problem. Implement the CI/CD practice. Okay, we're talking about CI/CD early, and we need to implement this practice for reducing the time. Improve the communication about developer and operational. Sometimes the developer says, I have a problem, it's your problem. The dev, no, it's your problem. No one hearing each other for understand what is the basic problem. Define some common rules for improve the communication. What is the workflow for a problem? What we need to do for fix a problem? Just screaming or stay in the table and try to find a way? Change the company culture. DevOps is in particular is a company culture change. We need to be sure all companies have the same line. If the manager don't want to do that, it's impossible to have in place. Now I want to show you some simple slides for connecting Jenkins with C for the continuous integration, because sometimes just a simple practice show to do. What you do is installing Jenkins, and when it's installed, manage the plugin. Jenkins is fantastic because you have a lot of plugins you can installing. When you're installing the plugin, the Git plugin and the GitHub, we have a new show like that. The project name is what you want building. There is the GitHub project, your project. Be careful, if you want to do Jenkins getting your code by yourself, you can using the two-factor authentication with Jenkins, with Git, because this is not allowed to Git. Execute it, concurrent build if necessary, meaning I needed to executing too much build at the same time because two developers commit feature. Another stuff is now we have this way. This is my project, my building. I have a GitHub and the GitHub good log. GitHub good log is one of the best features you can find in Jenkins because tell to Git, this feature is stable, this is the new version of code. If you go in GitHub, I can show you because we have a problem with network there, you can connect with GitHub and find exactly what is the last version, stable, meaning passed all tests, buildable, for the releasing. Another stuff we can do now is if we want releasing, we can managing, adding a Capistrano job and Jenkins building the software for you in the server. Or building a container Docker, all you want. With Jenkins, you completely close the CI/CD circle just with one server. What we're talking is the continuous monitoring. This is what we're talking about. This is a software, it's called New Relic. You can see what's happened on the instance of the software in a central way. Okay, I removed the name of the customer for normal customer, but this is show you exactly the upnext code, the throughput, for example, the web translation response time, you can find event error, alert, deployment, SLA, availability. You can check exactly what's happened in the real instance and reduce the error because essentially don't arriving on the customer. Okay, now the conclusion is probably we show now what we have in CI/CD with DevOps. We're using this practice daily in my company for improve the quality, for have a better response to the error, and this normally help us to be one of the best in the market, actually. Some last report tell us is that, and for simplify our life. This meaning if we have a problem, because we have a New Relic, we can understand the problem first the customer finds the problem. And this can help you to be successful in your job, probably.